Did you ever make a really bad mistake in your decorating that you had to own up to and look at for a while because it was just going to be too much effort or too much money to replace it? Well, I have, and today we're going to talk about it and show you how one can of paint made all the difference in the world to take my room from garish to serene. Now, just between you and me, the room looked great before I painted it garish, so yeah, that's on me. But we're all friends here. I'm Ann Clay, and I'm here to help you transform your living space into a true reflection of your heart, where every corner feels like home. 8 years ago, I purchased my dream house, a 250-year-old farmhouse with a big barn. And boy, have I loved it here. The truth is that before that, since growing up, I've never lived in one place for 8 years. The most I got to was 4 years, but I've been here for 8 years, and it's been amazing. And during that time, I have decorated and redecorated and decorated and redecorated some more because I was trying to find the style that would both fit the house and fit my heart. And amazingly enough, that's been a really hard road. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I've always had this thing about design, but I just didn't really know who I was and what my style was and what I would prefer. So at some point during this journey of decorating my home, I settled in on the early American style. Because this house was made in the 1780s, it seemed to suit the style of the home, and I wanted to bring it back to where it was in early history. I wanted to be able to walk into this home and just time travel. If you know anything about me, you know that I am crazy about time travel movies. Outlander, Poldark, The Way Home. I am just crazy about that, and I love when you go to a different time. What I loved about the early American style was the simplicity of things. It was the intentionality of the decorating. It was that they didn't have a lot, so then I didn't need a lot. And that was much more preferable to my budget than a style that would cause me to go out and have to purchase a whole lot of things. In addition, because I'm in New England, I could find a lot of primitive antiques at a fairly reasonable price. For years, I immersed myself in the early American style. I looked at Judy Condon's books. I looked in the Primitive Place magazine, all the magazines that I could find in early American. I looked on Pinterest. I studied homes, and I tried to imitate them. Then I made some really good friends like Roz from Angel House Designs and Alice, who has a beautiful early American home herself. I became an A student in early American decorating, and I took you all along for the ride. And if you are new to this channel, I have 800 videos, so please go back and look at my playlist. How I offered these home tours of all these people with the early American, and I would just suck it in and absorb it because it was so good. Well, I succeeded in learning the early American style. I succeeded in being in books and in Judy Condon's book and in the Primitive Place magazine. And it has been a really great journey. I found myself ticking off boxes, almost like, okay, what does an early American home mean? And I started going to colonial homes in the area and looking at them. And when I looked at them, I would look at them with a real critical eye, like, what exactly could I put in my home? How authentic could I make it? I wanted my home to be as authentic as possible. One thing I noticed when I walked into these early American homes was that they had a very liberal use of color. Not like we decorate today. They used a lot of bright colors. That's what they wanted, were bright colors. They did not have the paint choices that we have today. And so they'd end up with maybe a yellow kitchen. You'd walk into the next room and it would be red. And you'd walk into the next room and it would be aqua. And that was what the early American homes looked like. Later on, they started decorating with wallpaper in the early 1800s. And that wallpaper was very wild and garish. And then they started in with rugs that were like woven with all these different colors, and they'd put the rugs over the floor, and the rugs never matched the wallpaper. It may or may not match the paint, and it was quite the cacophony of colors. When I moved into this house, I painted my home to flow. So I chose a pashmina color on the trim, and I chose a Chantilly lace white, both Benjamin Moore, on the walls, and it was beautiful and it flowed and it was calm. But as I started going into these homes and trying to be more authentic, I ended up painting some darker, deeper colors. Now, one of the colors that I was painting was brown because I loved the look of the wood, and I realized that I was starting to feel very settled in the rooms that were darker and brown. But one day I went into Deerfield and I saw this beautiful red kitchen, and I came home and I said, I need a red room. And it was right before Christmas, and red seemed to be just the color I needed, so I painted my family room red. Oh boy, I regretted it almost immediately. But what are you going to do because you've already painted your room? All I could do was make the best of the room and keep trying to decorate it to make it work. So decorating it I did. Over and over and over again, I rearranged that room, tried to make it look better. Roz from Angel House Designs came over and helped me design a Sheridan settle for that room that would let more light in and open it up and make it beautiful. And we did this whole redesign and it was so beautiful. But I still hated that color red. And every once in a while I'd say to someone, I don't like the red. And they'd say, don't paint it, don't paint it, the red is fine. And I'd be like, oh, I don't like the red. This is what I found out. And I want to help keep you from this same dilemma. I was decorating by someone else's rules. No, not rules from any friends or people around me. I was decorating from rules in houses that were 250 years old. I was decorating from the museum rules. I was decorating from the authenticity rules. However, it wasn't the right choice for my heart. It didn't feel like home to me. In doing that, I lost a little bit of my own voice. Decorating in a style, no matter what style you've chosen, is not about losing your voice to that style. It's about infusing your voice and your heart in that style. And this is how I've chosen to do it. I now decorate 90% in the early American style, but I reserve 10% for me. That 10% includes my color choices in my paint. It includes my curtain choices. It includes my carpeting choices, and it includes my artwork. That way I can infuse my own sense of individuality and style into my early American home. I love the history, I still do. But what I didn't realize at the time is how easy it is to let a style consume you. To feel like you're chasing after an ideal that doesn't allow you to express your own creativity in the mix. I started to feel trapped by the rules that I had internalized about what was correct or authentic in this decorating style. Things like always use period appropriate colors, for instance, thus the red. The problem is that rigid rules stifle the soul of your home. Yes, I had created a home that felt magazine perfect, but did it really feel like home? Home is a place where you want to relax and let down your hair. Home is that one place where you walk into and you can breathe deeply and go, ah, it's my refuge. That's what home is. And while I had a really great house, was it really my home? I began to ask myself, what do I really love? What do I want to be around me? What are expressions of who I am? I realized that while I deeply respect the early American decorating style, my home isn't a museum, and nobody is coming here to see an authentic look at what a home looked like back in that day. This is actually where I live. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed in your decorating journey, remember this. You don't have to follow anyone else's rules. Those are guidelines. When you choose a style, it's a guideline for how you're going to decorate. You don't have to follow the rules to a T. Because at the end of the day, decorating your home is not about impressing anyone or being a museum or following all the rules. It's about creating a place where your heart comes home. Okay, so let's take a closer look at that room and see what I did there. All right, let's just really evaluate this room. Now, I wanted a room that would be classy and yet calming and simple and minimal and yet give a very good nod to the early American style. In fact, it's more than a nod. If you walk into this room, you know that it's a room decorated with an early American style. What gives it away is the reproduction furniture from Angel House Designs. All three pieces are absolutely artwork in and of themselves, with the beautiful woven materials, the gorgeous style of the furniture. The make-do chair is a classic primitive style, and how beautiful is that? And this one, which is my newest one that Angel House made for me, I don't know if it was a year or two ago now, maybe a year ago, is just my favorite. And what I love about this is that while I have the stencil on the seat, we've chosen to put a different design on the back, and it gives it a little bit more of a contemporary flair. It's just something that's more unique and individual, and I absolutely love it. Also in this room, I have a lot of antiques. I have this trunk that I bought at Primitive Goods from Alice and Jean, and this is an old work trunk. I love it, but I love the patina of the wood. I have an antique OG clock over here that I need to wind. I have a beautiful table. This is a tavern table that came from the collection of Lana Testa, and I love this table. It's absolutely beautiful, and again, if you look at this table, you can see how wide this one board is, which means the table is very old, because back then they were cutting down some trees that were really, really wide, and you can see that this was created with these dowels. And the wood is a real dark patina that shows that it's aged quite a bit. This tavern table works really well in this area because it's not that high. So it's low enough that it's not causing an obstruction as I look at the people at the other table, but it's high enough that we can actually sit down here and eat dinner if we want to in front of the table, in front of the TV. So it works really, really well. I also have an antique basket on this table, and just that one basket makes a statement. I don't have things in there. Now you'll see there's a few coasters in there, but I have chosen not to decorate the inside of the basket because I wanted it to be plain and simple and minimal. In here I also have a few barrels that would go into a tavern. One's a nail barrel and a couple are drink barrels. And that's serving as an end table there. The nail barrel is serving for a place to quick throw the dog toys in or the wires in when people come over and we want to hide them. Over on this side of the room, I have three beautiful baskets that I picked up at an antique store. And I just want to say that you don't need a whole lot to make a collection. I only have these three baskets. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. When I went to the antique store the other day and I had a vision for baskets on these shelves, I thought I could fill the whole thing up, but I wanted to keep it simple and minimal. This is our TV cabinet. It hides the very modern aspect of a TV. Also, I have these banister back chairs, and these were also Lana Testa's. These were 2 of the 4 chairs that were around that table. And they're absolutely beautiful and old. And this is a sampler that was a gift to me from Alice, and I will forever treasure that and love it. What else do I have in here that's an antique? Well, I have this picture of Holland. This is a little piece of me. Karina from Bernat Antiques gave this to me, and I really love it. Next up, we have a bench. Again, I don't know if this is really antique or not, this bench. It was left to me by the former owners, but it certainly is built in a primitive style and very primitive looking. I really, really love it. And then everything else in here are reproductions, but they're all lanterns, tavern signs. They all have to do with the primitive style. This is a bowl. It is a reproduction, but it is carved out by hand, just like they would have done back in the days of old. A wool blanket. This is fake fur, but we can pretend it would really be an animal pellet. So everything that you're looking here seems pretty original. Now here's where I deviated just a little bit, but I still stayed within the style. This carpet is one that I designed and ordered, and it's from the D. Loomis Inn sign that was an inn in Connecticut in the early 1800s. And I made it into a carpet. Now, if you went into a home in those days, they wouldn't have a Loomis Inn sign on the floor. But this has this wink to the past and yet some of the design of today. The other way that I have deviated into my own style is this portrait. I love this portrait so much. It's available on my website. This couple is so interesting to me, and they're wearing the old-fashioned clothing, the clothing that you would pretty much be wearing if you lived in this house. They're a little bit more contemporary, but it's more of a daguerreotype feel. In early America, you would have had a painting of an itinerant painter and not a photograph. But I have chosen to put this portrait up there that's more of a daguerreotype portrait. And so it gives this little bit of unexpectedness to the home, but it still looks old-fashioned. That's the thing here. All of my 10% that I have deviated is still old-fashioned. So it has not taken the look out of the room. It's been that 10% of what I feel creates charm and life and the unexpected. But it still is that old romantic time period. So when I walk into this room, I can still feel transported in time. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one where your personal sanctuary awaits, where I show you how I created a bedroom that expressed my heart.